Hello there, my Cancerian Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. How are you? Welcome to your Satisfying Soulmate relationship for October 2019. Actually, that's Satisfying Soulmates, because the truth is we have lots of them in one lifetime. This idea that there's only one of them and that the twin flame and the soulmate are the same thing. They're not. They're two different types of contracts. Trust me, I was raised by a lawyer. I know. Twin flames are turbulent. There's in the links below, there's a video I did called Clarifying Twin Flames, Soulmates, and True Lovers. You might want to pause this one, go have a look at that, unless you kind of already get. Inspired by the work of Matt Kahn, spiritual teacher out on the West Coast. His link is in there too. About the soul contracts. So this is really based on that kind of new fifth dimensional perspective, that soulmates are your satisfying relationships, pre-incarnational contracts, meaning you sign them before you come in. They're built into the character of the lives that you play in this life, right? Your soul incarnates to play, like my soul incarnated, the soul that I am incarnated to play Mark A. Lyons. So there are a number of both twin flame and soulmate contracts, but soulmate contracts, not just romantic, that's only one category of many. Familial, friends. These are the contracts where you help each other heal. They are symbiotic. They are satisfying. They are, for the most part, soothing. Not that you won't have bumps in the road, of course you will, but they really do tend to work themselves out. And when soulmate contracts end, which they do, sometimes they do, they're pretty much, you just sort of drift away, right? And there's an acknowledgement, at least on a subconscious level, that no, done, blessed be, you know, may you find your way. Like when a dear soulmate moves away, right, for work, and it's not for a bad thing, or if your paths just go two different ways, it happens. But that's okay, because soulmates are necessary on the path for us to do what we came in to do in this life, really in every life. And of course you've had them from lifetime to lifetime. But I'm also pretty sure with certain souls, sometimes you're twin flames, sometimes you're soulmates. But we will talk about that. I was going to do this set of readings for the twin flames, it's just I can't right now, because I'm doing the extended reads for this one. So the link for the extended read on Vimeo. They're all $9.99. I'm keeping them relatively expensive because already most of them are like over 45 minutes. So you can download them on Vimeo, keep them on your device, and you have unlimited views. If you don't, so you can just watch them until Vimeo or I no longer exist, right? Because someone's got to pay the on-demand, what is that called? Vimeo Pro fee, right? So it's Pro fee. Sorry, Cancerians. So let's get down to business. The best thing about this time around is I'm doing the Celtic Cross, which is my absolute favorite spread, and you don't see it that often on YouTube. So the other cool thing is because I'm only using one deck, right? All the other decks I'm using in the extended, because honestly, that's the 10 cards in the Celtic Cross spread, right? Really, altogether, the entire spread is 40 cards. So we're just laying down 10 here, right? And if you want to get the additional clarification, and I will say the clarifications, it's like so far the three that I've done, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, we didn't necessarily see the romantic sexual part in the YouTube version, right? Just laying down the first 10. Boy, did it come up in the other ones. So, you know, you might want to go have a look. $9.99 might be worth it, right? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, right? Just go for the one that feels right. Unless you want to watch all four, I'm down with that. Pays my bills. Remember, I am a professional witch and professional intuitive. This is how I make my chain, right? My coin. So I get to bless this deck for you. Usually I do this offline before I hit record. So just take a deep breath. Particularly this is soulmate. Really call to your higher power, your soul, your higher self, your fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional, seventh dimensional, eighth dimensional self. I do the same for myself, please. I ask for my gods, my higher selves, 5, 6, 7, and 8, to please be here with me in the now to bless this deck. My gods, please bless this deck for the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love and their soulmate contracts for the month of October 2019. May they be blessed. May they be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love in their soulmate contracts for October 2019. Everything that they need to heal, to grow, to learn, to be the best that they can be, and to fulfill their role in the divine plan consciously or unconsciously. I am the light I am. I am the light I am. I am the light I am for the well-being of all that I am now. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross. One for maiden, one for mother, one for crone. Maiden, mother. Come here. Crone, that was lovely. Cancerians, Hera, Hecate, and Hestia. Actually, it's Hestia, Hera, Hecate, maiden, mother, crone. Sit in the throne. So it's three that sit in the throne, three phases of the moon for Cancerians. So we've got all three of them kind of coaching me on, which is kind of cool. So I won't be doing the shufflies in between. I'm just going to pull right from the top of the deck because the first 10 cards, Celtic Cross. So let's dive in. Here we go. This is the way I read the Celtic Cross. People read it differently from book to book to book. This is just what works for me over the past 30 plus years of doing this spread. So here we go, an oldie but a goodie. Here we go. Well, your first card down, the card that covers you, is the 10 of Cups, Pentacles. So you've got the best start so far. Although some of the others started with major arcana cards, 10 of Cups, Ecstasy. So really, what else can you say? That where you're starting off here is, yes, emotional, but a lot of this emotional stuff is good. Like I can't say that this is a sustained thing for weeks and weeks and weeks. Where you are right now in terms of your soulmate path, your soulmate journey, but your heart's open, right? There's a lot of healing going on. Perhaps that love had been suppressed and then some obstacles had been removed, right? So overflowing and really kind of showering the people around you too. Even though Cancerians are known to be moody, they're also known to somewhat be a bit protective, a little bit, well, yin, right? Divine feminine pulled in behind shell and claws, right? My mom is one, so I know she loves me very much, but we know I was raised by not just lawyers, but the sarcastic. I was raised by the sarcastic. So in my family in particular, we show affection through sarcasm. It's a little bit of a crossed wire, but you know, as you grow, you learn, you evolve. So however you're expressing that, this is straight up 10 of Cups. Go watch my video on reversals, how I read reversals. This is pretty much straight up. Now tell me, right? Do you really want to love me forever, or am I caught in a hit and run? Let's see what crosses you. The other, the situation, the help, the hindrance. Well, okay, that's really great. That's success, right? That's 6 of Pentacles. Quarter turn that it will be making its turn upward, right? Am I doing that right? Oh, no. Okay, so it's going this way, right? It's inverting. I have to remember, I have to turn it counterclockwise for it to go clockwise on your side. So whatever the situation, this success, it's already on its journey inward. This is about inner success for you. Now, I just love this card, right? It's like Special Olympics. Race today. Anybody who's in this race is winning, right? Winning, right? So it's making that internal journey, this success. So wherever it is, no, you know what? That's wrong. I'm sorry. That's making its way to right itself. I'm just flipping the card incorrectly. So this success is going from the inner to the outer. Sorry, just this reverse camera thing. I'm still not used to it. I've been doing this for a while and still not used to that. Cat. Pick it back up and you fall on your back. But really good, by the way. Can we say for your first 2 cards down, you got this ecstasy with this success writing itself coming up into conscious, and that is physical. That is Pentacles. That is 6 of Pentacles. We're used to seeing the 6 of Pentacles as the dude with the scale, and some people are getting some, and somebody ain't getting none. Not in this deck. This is about just keep moving forward, keep rolling, keep going. Yes, and you can even say this is a little literal, but we can understand this success under handicap. What does that mean? A weight. W-E-I-G-H-T or W-A-I-T. Because the more psychic weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, we carry, particularly emotional psychic weight, the more we usually have to weight, W-A-I-T, hence emotional baggage, right? The stuff that holds us down. And it feels like you're breaking through a lot of that stuff. You've crossed some interior finish lines in your own interior journey. So this doesn't necessarily feel like this is you and this is the potential soulmate in your life there or coming in. That's really talking about you. That's really talking about whatever hardships you have gone through. You're rolling forward, right? You're moving forward. And that, like I said, it feel in the first card feels like you remove some obstacles to love's presence, and Ten of Cups all over the place. Very cool. What's at the core? Third position is the core. It's underneath it. I'll put up a picture at the end so that you can see the look of the spread. What's going on? Subconscious doesn't mean you don't know about it, just you might not know all about it. It's like standing sitting on the dock of the bay. Thank you, DJ. You can see a little bit under the water, but you can't really see what's going on at the bottom and very, very far out. You can only see a little bit. So some of this you know about, some of this you don't. Oh, there we got the Libra card. The Libra card in terms of balance. Now, this is in the interior world, and I will say it's the exact same. Tilt, ready to turn upwards. So what is subconscious is working its way to become more and more conscious within you. And yeah, you can interpret that as a person, I suppose. Not feeling that. This might be about a person, but they are in your subconscious mind. Might be somebody you've met, might be somebody that you know, might be in your life. We're not even looking at the form of the relationship right now. We're still kind of getting the theme, the content. Although this is really more about you balancing yourself, because look, any relationship with Libras I've ever been in, I've always done, all right, let's see how this balances out. What do I have to balance in myself? Am I giving more than I'm taking? Am I taking more than I'm giving? It's just how that rolls. So whether this is a person in your subconscious, it does not matter. The holographic nature of it all is that this is about you working on your 7th house, marriages, partnerships, contracts, and dealing with the shadow self, right? We don't often think of that. That part of the Libran balance is, you know, our light self in partnership with our, not our dark self, but our shadow self. In other words, the stuff that we willingly love and embrace, and the things that we won't willingly love and embrace because we're scared of it. We're afraid. What if people found out? What if people found out that I'm just not this beautiful queenly character, right? This royal character 24/7, that I'm actually, you know, a cold-hearted bitch sometimes, and this is, sorry to make it all just feminine. It's just Cancer is a feminine sign. The water signs and the earth signs are feminine. The fire and air signs are masculine. But what people didn't see, that I wasn't fucking warrior 24/7. Right? That inside I am a little child, because we all are. We are all of those things. Our bodies are holograms of the entire universe in one unique expression. So why wouldn't we do have all that stuff within us? And so the relationships in our outside world, well, it's not that they're mirrors of what's going on, they are projections of. So to clarify, it's not always like, oh, I've attracted a narcissist, therefore I must be a narcissist. Well, maybe, but there are different forms of narcissism. So for example, if you're dealing with an aggressive narcissist, we know what they're like. Those are the ones that we immediately rubber stamp narcissist. Everybody else's fault. Everybody else's fault. It's your fault. It's your, and you get some blame, and you get some blame, and you get some blame, right? Take no responsibility. But they are, you know, abusive, right? That tends to be their thing. Verbally abusive, physically abusive. That doesn't mean you're that, but chances are you look at, okay, what's the balance of that? Maybe I am the passive narcissist. Oh, it's always my fault. It's like martyrdom. No matter what I do. Well, meanwhile, there's a divine plan in play that's always been in play, and you're just playing the role as you go along. It's not all about what you've done, nor is it everybody else to blame in the aggressive, right? So there we have passive aggressive. That's the stuff that's balancing out here for you, and really has been, because you are overflowing with the love, the ecstasy, the joy, a completion of an emotional cycle, but a really joyful, ecstatic one. Very cool. Let's see where you're coming from. This is your behind. What's behind you? Well, there was that sense of security. Now, I don't feel like, oh, that's behind you, that's gone. It's like you achieved that 4 of Pentacles straight up, though, that allowed you to sort of go in and do this work. In other words, the bills were paid. And really, we can even look at that as in terms of satisfying soulmate relationships. Those could be like a friends, right? It's like one of them is you, and 3 of them are like 3 dear people. They don't all have to know each other. It doesn't mean you're all hanging out at the same time, but they all help show you what is already secure and satisfying within you. That's really lovely. It's like, okay, well, the electric bill is paid, and the internet bill is paid, and I've got food, and And now let's go into the underworld and heal. Let's embrace some shadow. Let's bring ourselves into balance in the interior world. Makes sense. So you're actually doing the soulmate work. But remember, the soulmate work is about becoming a soulmate, right? Everybody wants a soulmate. Well, are you a soulmate? Are you acting like a soulmate? Are you feeling like a soulmate? Are you loving like a soulmate? Are you helping others heal? Now, that's what I do for a living. So I'm like soulmate, open for business 24/7. But if I only limit it to the romantic sexual context, I'm not acknowledging the amount of soulmates I have. Like my mother is my soulmate, right? I've got a lot of soulmates. And some of them have been lovers, but when we parted ways, well, what I call it, I turned them from lover to brother, because we're all brothers and sisters. We're all divine masculine, divine feminines, children of the gods, right? So these first 4 cards show me where you are and where you've been. Now let's look at where you're going. The 5th position is your crown, like a baby crowning, what's coming into being. It's sort of a future card, but it's like immediate future. Like even what may be happening in this reading, like that's how immediate it is while you're watching this. 9 of Cups, compassion. Now, oh, sorry, 6 of Cups, compassion. So you have 2 6s. You have the 6 of Pentacles at that tilt, but the 6 of Cups straight up. So now this compassion, what's coming for you is that emotional balance, right? What do we think of 6 of Cups as in the Rider-Waite? Nostalgia. This is a different vibe, but very much connected about emotional balance and this compassion, not just for yourself, but flowing outwards, right? Yang, straight up. It was like this would be totally yin. This is totally yang, and of course we have those degrees. Oh, that's just so lovely that as a result of this, you know, what's crossing you right now is that you're moving forward. You've got that lovely sense of, so you really went from the 4 of security, stable foundation, perhaps holding on a bit, right? Because you have stuff that you were holding on to that you're alchemizing, healing, loving what rises and all that. So now you're in this place of compassion where this compassion isn't just for you, it is for others. And again, so it's like I'm getting, oh, well, you know, even if I go with that card and this card, this is soul groups. This is soulmate groups, soul family. And you know what? We shift those too. I've had different rounds of soul families, because what, you think we're just clearing one life here? No. No, I mean, when I used to work at Body, Mind, and Soul in Huntington 2,000 years ago, right? When I used to work at Pillars of Light, you know, you connect with these communities. Of course, you know, I'm a professional witch and a teacher, so I travel around. I meet a lot of people. My journey, ultimately, my journey is mine, right? It's not about anybody else. And that's how the path of true love is, exactly that. Right? It's like your path of healing, of spiritual growth. So these are your soulmate contracts. So I would say, Cancerian, you got a gaggle of them around you. Start a coven. I'm not going to. I already did. And I'm an elder. Done. Done. So let's see now what's before you on the path. What is literally laying before you on this path, considering the work that you're doing internally, or that you will do this month. Really, I keep forgetting. I hear readers talk about the next month as though it's happening right now. It's hard not to do that. But really, a lovely setup. Let's see what's coming. All right. Now here we have a real person indicated here, the Leo, Mother of Flames. Leo. Fixed fire. Yes, passionate, creative. Now, are we going to say that they are only a Leo? Sun sign. Go watch my video clarifying court cards, because that's not how I roll either. Who knows what sign they are? Because if it's psychic, God, I hate that word. If an intuitive tells you, oh, you're going to meet a Leo in this case, it's like, well, you're going to ignore the other 11 signs. This is more about somebody who's creative, perhaps a bit stubborn, right? But they are in their process of creativity. Maybe there's something feline about them. That's feeling that in part of the collective. You know, some people are canine, some people are feline, some people are avian, which means birds, right? Some people are bovine. I mean, not to call them cows, but you know, we're animals, right? So some of us, you can see those characteristics. Perhaps there's something a little feline going on here with this person. But with that quarter turn, it's like they're half in, half out, right? They're in their process as well. They're halfway, not half in, half out necessarily in this relationship, although that may very much indicate this is somebody you haven't met before. but definitely a soulmate indication here about creativity and good fortune. That fifth house, yes, pleasure and all of that. This could be romantic, sexual, easily, but my sense is, and that's the intuitive part of this that I'm picking up on when I even just touch the card, that there's something soft and gentle here, but also hot and fierce. So that's kind of cool. So now let me explain the microcosm. The first 6 cards of the Celtic cross for me are the microcosm, the small world, because it's a small world after all. Don't drink that water on the ride. I hear it's laced. Is that The Simpsons? Yeah. So your 4th card, your 2nd card, and your 6th card are past, present, future. Past, present, future, right? So in the past here, you've got this security, straight up, that 4 of Pentacles. You've got that stabilization in there. So you've already got soulmates on the journey indicated in the past. Just have a look, right? Look over your shoulder, go, who really helped me through this? Who helped me heal? And who did you help heal? It's reciprocal, it's symbiotic. It's just we often, symbiotic is another good S thing for the soulmate satisfying relationships, right? Synthesizing that there's always an equal exchange, just maybe doesn't happen all at the same time, and it's understood. It's like, no, honey, you heal. I can make my own dinner. I can do that for myself. Because where are you right now? Remember, this is like a quarter turn away from just bloop, being a total success. So that's really wonderful. So that security, that 4 goes to a 6. And then here, interestingly enough, at the same angle, right, is this Leonine 5th house, pleasure, creativity, good fortune person. Just try and be careful of only, well, what sign are you? Would you like to know my name first? No! Cancerian. Yeah, that's some funny shit, right? Because trust your intuition on that, right? Like Cancerians, Pisces, Scorpios, it's like whenever you're dealing with soulmate stuff, it's like you can't just go with the mind or with the heart. You kind of have to use all of it. You kind of have to like really listen to all those intuitive voices. And if you stop looking for them, you'll see they're all around you. That's just how that rolls, right? It's just, I love this new definition, this redefining of soulmate and twin flame. It's like, oh, my body just relaxes. Like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Now let's look at the vertical line here. We've got in your core this Libra, this balancing, yes, about relationships, partnerships, perhaps even dealing with the shadow self. And on the cover, and this isn't just what you're showing the world, like this is where you are for the month of October, or at least, you know, leading into it, is that 10 of Cups, and you are sharing that love and compassion, not just receiving it, but also giving it. And that is just, oh, it's just lovely. I'm so glad for you. Glad you're sharing the wealth, my darling. Because now we're going to do the macrocosm, the staff up the side, the 4 cards, which are the universal influences. And yes, I studied speech in high school and college. I'm very good at accents and dialects. Same thing with music. I have a perfect pitch. If you tell me sing this note, I just give me the note and I can reproduce it. Did you see I almost shuffled? Fuck, no. Not doing that. Dr. Cards. So card number 7 is the lesson. Like, what are the gods trying to teach you? The gods are trying to teach you about Taurus, what your life values are, and notice the exact same tilt as we've had. Oh no, opposite tilt, sorry, that we've had before. Taurus, 2nd house energy. Now, maybe there is a Taurus in your life, or maybe there's something that is fixed and fertile and rich and deep, but perhaps a bit uncompromising. That can easily be seen as a career. That can easily be seen as a relationship, and this can easily be seen as a teacher. The Taurian energy here, oh yeah, the tilt of the card, this is going inwards, okay? So my cards turn clockwise, which is weird because I have to turn them counterclockwise, right? Is that working? I don't know, you know what I mean. This reverse thing. I'll get used to it eventually, years from now. But your lesson, look, if we're gonna let's take it out of this position for a moment. This is about anybody else but yourself, right? Your relationship with yourself, which I love. Eckhart Tolle, when he said, you know, he almost committed suicide. He said, I can't stand myself anymore, or something like that. And he was like, I, myself, am I 2 beings? And it triggered his awakening, right? So bookmark that, power of now, right? This Mother of Pentacles, this Taurus, is about you really coming into contact, clarification. You're learning about your life values, because look, she's the great corn mother, right? Relative to Demeter in my pantheon. She's got a baby on her back, right? She's carrying her loved one while she's still working the rows, working the fields. Yeah, life values, the ones that don't come and go, right? Like honesty for me is a big one. Why? Because I've been lied to and deceived, and don't try and deceive an empath, because we know something's going on. I mean, we may not ever figure it out, but what we're seeing and what we're feeling is different, right, Cancerians? And if we don't actually have the honesty, we drive ourselves nuts thinking there's something wrong with us. Passive narcissists, what am I doing wrong? It must be me. I must be crazy. And meanwhile, we're as accurate as the Farmer's Almanac, right? Sorry, it's getting comfy on my chair. So get in touch. You're getting in touch with what are your core life values, your fixed lifelong, which means you might have to do a little retrospect. What is not just important to you, but of value to you? Well, here they're giving me a good correlative. Like there's a difference between house and home. House, physical, tangible, Taurus. Home, fourth house, Cancerian. But this in this lesson isn't just about what's a life value for you in terms of things. It is also the long, durable, like for me, honesty. For me, my spiritual path is of the highest value to me, because lovers and friends and soulmates and twin flames come and go. Sometimes it's just you and the divine, right? So that path has saved my life. So just some examples there. This isn't just about, oh, my jewelry, my cats. Oh my God, I more than value them. They're my family. Got it? Let's move on. The eighth position is the world, how the world sees you on a horizontal trajectory, because we can't see ourselves, right? Even this is really confusing. I make my hand go that way and it goes the opposite way on the screen. We can't see ourselves even clearly in a mirror, right? It's a reversed image. So this is good to see, not how we actually are, perhaps. Cancerian, you crabby internal things, I love you so much, but how others see you, and they see you as the sun. So look, for all, and I have to say that does match up. That does match up with what I'm seeing here, and interesting with that Leo card there as well, ruled by the sun. That you really are sort of radiating. You are this happiness in the month of October 2019, that there is this divine, interestingly enough, you could say divine masculine, though this is a goddess deck, this is a feminist deck, so it's Amaterasu, Japanese goddess of the sun. But that you are sort of radiant. People are seeing you as radiant, as something solar, something that's giving of light, where the moon reflects light. Which is your usual milieu, your usual bailiwick, being that softer lunar thing. Here, you're really kind of radiating that solar beauty through you as well, which would indicate balance of masculine, feminine energy, right? Because if you have all this inner beauty, but it is, well, encased in lead is a bit much. That's alchemy. Let's put this a different way. But you are hiding your light under a bushel. I think you're a little odd for the Greek gods to give me New Testament, but I get it. Well, they all know. They're all one, right? They know the gods know way more than we do, fifth dimensional and above. That, perhaps you have been hiding your light under a bushel. You're not, right? Because the light that's being held may very well be the light of your soul, your divine feminine love, all that stuff, the sacred heart. But now your divine masculine is putting it out into the world, allowing it to yang. Your yin is yanging. That sounds dirty, but it's not what I mean. Let's look now at destiny. I always have to explain this. Fate and destiny are not the same thing. Usually the position in the 9 is hopes and fears. And what do we hope for and fear the most but our destinies, right? Because we hope so much that our dreams will come true, and yet subconsciously we are so terrified of what is going to be required of us, right? It's like you're sort of already doing that it's ongoing. It's a hero's journey. And really, if the hero gets, the hero receives the call, they answer the call, oh, they complete the call. Very short story. Who the hell gets that? I don't know anybody. It doesn't make for good movies, books, or TV, gotta say. The hero's journey, right? So good. Let's have a look now at your destiny. They want me to clarify one more thing. I've been doing the Helen Keller thing for all of these. Maybe I have to do them for all 12. My best explanation of the difference between fate and destiny is Helen Keller, blind, deaf, and mute, 18 months old, I believe, as a result of rubella scarlet fever. My memory is like this with names in general. I'm non-linear boy here. Had she suffered her fate, we wouldn't know her name. She would have been institutionalized, right? We got to look at the time period that was used. I'm talking about the miracle worker. It's a real life story. There was actually a person named Helen Keller, blind, deaf, and mute, could not speak, but due to the intervention of, oh my God, I can't believe the name, Annie Sullivan, right? And that her parents reaching out, that eventually Helen learned how to connect her interior senses to her exterior senses and communicate through WATER. She traveled the world. She taught the blind to see and the deaf to hear, and she met people who couldn't see and couldn't hear, who thought the deaf-blind should be institutionalized or they were worthless, right? I mean, truly, a miracle was made there. And the reason why I use that is you can see the fate and destiny. It's like, okay, well, this is the situation that I'm in that I can't get out of, fate. This is a family pattern, an ancestral pattern that I've, fate. This is my eye color. Well, your hair color, you can change. No, my hair I was born with purple hair. Oh, it's really not showing so much on the camera. Overtone purple for brown, right? Fate, what do you do with it? Do you alchemize the lead to gold, right? So here's not what your destiny is, but where you are on your soulmate path of true love. Journey, High Priestess, they're not telling you. High Priestess, really go with your intuition. Really go with the dictates of your soul. You're, in a sense, you could say that was a really powerful image. That all this emotional stuff that you're healing, all this balancing that you're doing is like, here, we'll put it in October context, scraping you out like a pumpkin, right? So that the divine can work through you. It's clearing the channel. That's where you are, that you are channeling divine energy. But High Priestess energy to me is all about mystery. It is one of the mystical cards in the deck. Well, all the cards are mystical depending on the context. But that there is a divine mystery here, that you are being used by the gods. Better to be used by the gods, right? But how are you in surrender to that? Are you willing to release your ego positions? Are you willing to be uncertain? Can you make peace with uncertainty, that perhaps uncertain, unknowing child? Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. So let's just say this is what's going to happen, and then you find out. No, because that's what the mind does, right? Power of now. Eckhart Tolle. This is really about allowing what is in you to come up and be healed out, already in process, to the point where you're 10 of cups and you're 6 of cups. You're sharing, you're feeling, because once you go through that process yourself, you don't just understand here when somebody else is in need of compassion. It just rises because you gave that to yourself. And essentially how I deal with compassion is, everybody's doing the best that they can. Be kind and compassionate. Everyone is fighting a hard battle, right? It's in my, I didn't write that. That's a quote. If you want to know who wrote the quote, Google it, or I quote it in my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. Go look at it on my website, jointhecircle.com, in the store. Really lovely. Last card down, though. These are not quickies. Yeah, we're already over 33 minutes. So your outcome, how does this all wind up? Well, with decisions. What kind of decisions? Who knows? But it is an 8 of blades. Now, much different than what you see in the Rider-Waite. Not that that is the only tarot structure on planet Earth. It's not, right? The Tarot Marseille, this would have just been 7 swords, right? With no people in it. Just very good for numerologists, though. If they do math, math is not my favorite thing. But here we're looking at Chokhmah. Chokhmah, desert goddess of the winds, and also part of the Kabbalistic tree of life. So yes, are there decisions going on in your life? Absolutely. Are they coming? Yes, and they are life-changing. But it seems like right now, not all of these blades, all of these options are on the table. Why? Because it's at the end of. So that's a cliffhanger. I can't tell you what the decisions are or what decision you'll make. Well, that's free will anyway. And because you got this journey right now, the options that would be on the table for that decision are going to change because of how you surf this, how you follow the GPS, your soul, your guidance. And come on, you're on a magical mystery tour here with this with this card Isis, the priestess, right? Isn't it weird saying the name Isis? She's a goddess first, right? Mother of all. Though the virgin in this context, the high priestess. So really a lovely staff here. You've got here the lesson about life values from the outside looking in, just bright as the sun. Your destiny is a result of embracing and being the high priestess, being an open channel for the divine to work through, which by the way works really, really well with this compassion card in your crown. And yet at some point in the month, in terms of your soulmates, there are decisions to be made. And just in terms of the soulmates, I just want to point out, you got a bunch here in the past, you got a bunch here in the present, right? Even this doesn't feel like you're doing this alone, that there are other people in on it, although no one can do that work for you. And that flowing of all of that. And even here in the sun card, right? I'm just looking at numbers of people. Even here in the Leo, right? There's like a mother and child, and even here in the Taurus, right? So it feels like you've got a lot of, you only have 3, let's say, solitary cards, right? The Libra, decisions, and the High Priestess. So even take that into consideration. You got a lot of good stuff going on for you here for the month, my Cancerians, my Crabbies. So I wish you the very best and the very blessed. Come along, click the link, go to Vimeo on demand, $9.99 for 30 more cards on top of those. To clarify, now I have to lay these out. You really came down, but it was fun doing that. I like smooshing them together. So I wish you the very best and the very blessed for the month. But for now, hail, farewell, drug wars, and blessed, blessed, blessed be.